Okay, dear students, I hope you are fine. Right? Ready for the lesson? Yes. Okay. Today we will discuss about breathing and gas exchange. It's a chapter, but we will focus on these learning objectives. So today during the lesson, you must be able to understand that what is the human respiratory system, identify different parts of the human respiratory system. It means if I give you a worksheet or you are provided a diagram or a model, you must be able to identify different parts of the human respiratory system. What is breathing system? What is the respiratory system? How ventilation take place in our body? What is happening when we inhale air? What happens when we exhale the air? So every cell needs respiration. We are doing respiration, and this respiration provides us energy. This energy makes us to move around. Clear? Now in this chapter we talk about respiratory system. This is the system. We have 7 to 8 organ system. Do you know? Can you tell me the name of other system we have in our body? Like I will give you one example. Digestive system we have. Circulatory system. Nervous system. Reproductive system, right? So we have too many systems. Here we only focus on respiratory system. So it means that we discuss those parts of the body which only involve in the process of respiration. Is it clear? Yes. You have learned one more chapter before this, digestive system. What happened in digestive system? Okay, so the food is broken down and the energy is released. What is that process called? Nutrition. So that process provides glucose. Now what happened to that glucose that we have and that is observed in the villi? It goes to the cells and now respiration takes place. So you see how two systems are connected. Digestive system provides glucose and respiratory system provides oxygen to break down that glucose, and then we get the energy, right? So this is important to understand. Now, my question, simple question from you is, can you tell me, like we all know that we are doing breathing, right? So who can tell me the parts of our respiratory system? What are the parts of our respiratory system? Can you tell me, please?
Nose.
Okay.
First nose, larynx.
Okay.
Trachea.
Okay.
Bronchus.
Okay.
Bronchioles.
Good.
And alveoli.
Good. So he has mentioned all the parts in a proper sequence, right? Now, when we talk about the system, we have this diagram. You see that we have a respiratory system, and this respiratory system enables us to take the air in, right, and to take the air out from the body. Clear? Now, in this respiratory system, it is important to identify different parts. You will do a worksheet after some time. There will be a small activity, so you need to understand these parts and their names. It is very much important. So I will highlight now some of the parts. Let's say we start from here. We have not labeled this part. We call this nose and mouth, right? These are the two organs we use for what? For inhalation. You are having, let's say, a race competition. You have another friend and you both are running. You keep your mouth closed and you are running. You only breathe with nose. The other friend, he is running, he is breathing in with the help of mouth. He will be feeling, tiredness earlier than you. Because with the help of this mouth, when you breathe in, you take oxygen, but it increases pressure on inside more than you need. While you are running, you need less oxygen, and it can be possible only to help with the nose, not with the mouth. So we keep our mouth closed and we run fast. Have you ever practiced this? Yes. I will take you another day outside to the ground and we will practice this. Okay? We will see how breathing with mouth and breathing with nose will make a difference in fast running. We will do this practice. Okay, so there is one question when we have here nose and we have mouth. Now there is a question from all of you. I told you one thing. It is important to breathe in with nose, right?
Yes.
But other than this, there are some other benefits if we breathe in with nose. Why it is important to breathe in with nose, or to make the question very simple, what is the role of nose in breathing system?
It clears the air.
Huh?
It clears the air
Okay.
from the dust.
Okay.
And it will heats the air.
Okay.
Like if it's cold outside, I will breathe in. It will be warmer inside.
Good. Perfect. So he's saying that.
Produced by goblet cells.
Okay.
So they will produce mucus, and mucus traps all of the dust and bacteria that could cause infection.
Very good answer. Okay. So in the nose we have hairs, as you mentioned, and these hair will trap any dust particle. So they help us, right? Maybe outside today the air is cold and I am moving outside. So if I breathe in the cold air, inside my body temperature is 37. So if this cold air go inside, it will make problem to me, right?
That's why you should breathe with nose.
So if I breathe with nose, this nose has a system. It will maintain the coming air temperature according to the outside environment in my body.
The outside temperature makes it the same as body temperature.
Yes. So that's why it is good. Now she mentioned one thing about mucus. Who will tell me what is mucus?
Sticky liquid.
What is mucus?
Mucus is a sticky liquid and it traps particles of dirt or bacteria that are present in.
Perfect. Where it is found?
It is found in trachea
In trachea only?
and larger.
In nose also we have this, because here also trapping take place, right? So you need to understand this diagram. So basically this is, you can see the esophagus. You have learned about esophagus in the previous chapter, right? But this is important. This is called windpipe. Yeah, biologically we can say trachea. It is the windpipe by which the air inside go and then reach to our lungs, right? So this trachea, it further go down and then it is divided inside in our chest cavity. This chest cavity, this is called thorax. What is it called? So if someone asks you that where are our lungs located, okay, what will be your answer? Thorax region. This is abdomen. Beneath our diaphragm, this area where we have large intestine, small intestine, we call this abdominal region. Upper than abdomen, what we call this thorax region, where our chest, our heart, our lungs, they are located. And chest cavity mainly composed of what? Composed of? We have rib cage. You have to identify when it go down, this is on the right side, this is on the left side. Am I right?
Yes.
Huh? Yes. This is right lung, this is left lung. This is the left, this is the right. It is like this. I am standing here. So to me, my right lung is this one. You understand? My left lung. So whenever you see diagram in exam, in book, you have to understand that this diagram is like me standing in this position. Because you may be asked in the exam that identify the right lung. So you will think that right is this one, but actually this is the left one. This is the tricky part you have to understand. Now you see, this is the human skeleton. Have you ever noticed this in our biology lab?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Okay, do you scare? No? Okay. Look at this part. This is called rib cage. This rib cage has important role. You know why? Because inside here we have heart, we have lungs here. Bring that diagram also from the midpoint. We have lungs here, right and left lung, and these lungs are supported by these rib cage. We have muscles here. We have muscles here which we call intercostal muscles. You see these muscles, these are the muscles. Okay, and you can see the heart is here, the left and the right bronchus, and this part, diaphragm. So these are basically your lungs from the outside, how they look like. But in this diagram which we have, we don't have a rib cage. So you need to understand that the rib cage, what is the role of rib cage in ventilation? Here we don't have a diaphragm, but when we study about ventilation process, you need to understand that when we take air in, two concepts are important you have learned before, maybe in chemistry also. You know diffusion?
Yes.
What is diffusion?
The movement of substances from high concentration to low concentration.
One student only. Yes?
The movement of substances from high concentration to the low concentration. Usually it could be like liquids or solids, but in this case it is oxygen and carbon dioxide.
Okay, so it is air.
Yes.
And you already know that the air, it always moves from high to low pressure. From high pressure to low pressure. Because it is diffusion, so obviously from high to low, right? So imagine if I am breathing, right? So it means that the outside pressure is high, the inside pressure is low. Clear? And when I breathe out, inside pressure will be high, outside will be low. So this diaphragm, where we have muscles, these muscles in surrounding this rib cage and the diaphragm, they both help us in this mechanism. Intercostal muscles and the diaphragm, both are basically, diaphragm is also a sheet of muscle. It helps in the ventilation mechanism. We will discuss later.
Inside muscle, yes, in outside. It is called external intercostal muscles. Thorax and abdomen separated by diaphragm. Okay, these muscles help to movement of respiration, breathing in, breathing out. You understand? We also discuss mucus. Mucus again. Nose, trachea and bronchioles. Teoradagi glands nafs qarar kan mucus. Mucus can have and bacteria. Also, you can kill bacteria. Bacteria and also cilia.
Okay. Here, one thing is important about cilia. You have to understand that we have some cells. Okay, they have cilia. Cilia are hair-like structures. They are found with some cells, and they are in our trachea. So when sometime if there is dusty environment, right, when you inhale, there is no filtration system in our mouth. Whatever you breathe in, it will go down. And we cough. When they are trapped in the mucus, so what will happen? Then we cough, because the cilia will sweep them outside. Yes. Today I give you, you will do a small research on a simple topic. You don't need to research too much, but there is one disease. If the mucus become very high in our body, let's say in the trachea, in any part of the body, it affects the system. Let's say respiratory system will be affected. You have to make a short research today, using your laptops, research from the internet about one disease that we call, it's about, about mucus. Okay, that disease is related to the mucus. If the mucus concentration will become higher in the body, so what will happen to the person? Let's say to the respiratory system. Okay, and what will happen if that mucus concentration become very high in the reproductive system? It will affect on both systems, right? We have mucus in the respiratory system, in the reproductive system. So in both parts we need small amount of mucus. If this mucus will be very higher, so it will cause problem, and this will be a disease condition. Okay. Now, when we discuss now here ventilation mechanism, so we have to understand ventilation mean what? Moving of air in and out, right? If I open this window, this is also ventilation, right? Yes. If the air go into my body and coming out from my body, this is also ventilation. Is it clear? So when we understand the ventilation mechanism, it is important that you need to know that those parts which we already explained to you, that how these are involved, like the role of the rib cage, the role of the intercostal muscles, and the role of the diaphragm. 3 things you have to understand. So number 1, inhalation. The air is going from where? Pressure will be higher where? Outside, right? So when the air is going into the lungs from the outside, let's say this is inhalation. So the air go in, clear? So what happened? We have here the diaphragm. This is the sheet of muscle. What will happen? It will contract. Yes.
Big volume.
Yes. When it contract, so let's say breathing in. Please try it. Keep your fingers on your rib cage, both sides, and deep breathe in, deep. What do you feel? Your rib cage move upward, outside, or inside?
Upwards.
Okay. So what we can say during breathing in, what happened? Diaphragm contract, and what happened to this? What happened to our rib cage?
It will go upwards and outwards.
Yes, it go upward and outward. And what happened to the pressure? The pressure lower down. The pressure lower down. This is what I told you, that this diaphragm here and this rib cage has important role. If this rib cage will not exist, we will not be able to maintain the pressure gradient that we need. So during inhalation, we need pressure to be low. During exhalation, we need the pressure to be higher inside our chest cavity. And this is helping us. So you need to understand the difference between. Now here, one more thing you need to write. You need to understand the muscles, the intercostal muscles. What happened to intercostal muscles, Medina, during inhalation?
Actually, there are 2 types of intercostal muscles. One is internal, one is external. When we inhale, the ribs will move outwards, so the external intercostal muscles will relax and the internal intercostal muscles will contract, while diaphragm will also contract, losing its dome shape.
Okay. Now I give you 2-minute activity, 2 minutes only. You will together, listen to me, open your notebooks, discuss with each other how inhalation and exhalation are different from each other. Write 4 lines on the comparison. On one side write inhalation, on other side write exhalation. Discuss with your friend and write in the notebook. I will check now. You have 2 minutes only. Yes. Compare inhalation and exhalation. One side write inhalation, another side write exhalation. Compare both. Discuss with each other and then write. Don't even write only. Discuss and write. Who is Jahangir? Who is? Which student? I don't understand. Who is? First, second, and third. Second? Okay.
More question.
Stop writing now. You can finish it later if you have not yet done. Okay, Mr. Jahangir, can you please tell me how many types of respiration exist? 2. What are their names? Which respiration we are doing now?
Inhalation.
Respiration.
Inhalation and exhalation.
How many types of respiration exist? You said 2, right? How many types we have? 2 types of respiration. What are their names? Aerobic and anaerobic. You remember? Which one we are doing now? Aerobic. What is aerobic respiration? Do you know? Don't tell, please. What is aerobic respiration? Do you understand? What is aerobic respiration?
It teaches you this process.
In the start of the lesson we discussed this, right? As respiration. I told you that system, digestive system do what and respiratory system do what, and how these two systems are linked together. Now what is aerobic respiration?
Glucose broken down.
Mr. Olobeki?
Yes, can you please tell me what is aerobic respiration?
They need continuous supply of oxygen.
Good. So it is respiration when oxygen is available. Simple.
Some organisms like bacteria and fungi live without oxygen. This organism called.
And you will be surprised to know that we also do anaerobic respiration sometime. Can you explain when we do anaerobic respiration?
Anaerobic respiration is referred to the respiration when oxygen is not present or there is a limited amount of oxygen. So that happens when we're running really fast, so we can't catch our breath. So it happens when the glucose will come, and then it will form pyruvate, two ATPs and two NADs. So after that pyruvate will be used to produce lactic acid while producing ATP that we need. And it happens without oxygen, but that is not that good because lactic acid could cause muscle cramps and so on. So it's just it is with or without oxygen.
Yes, so without oxygen, respiration also takes place, although it produces less amount of energy, but we use a proverb, if you know, something is better than nothing, right? Even though it produces less amount of energy, but although that energy also helps us, and then we need more oxygen to break down that lactic acid. I don't want to go in that detail. So in this, today we are focused on the process of ventilation. So as you know, now you know what happened in exhalation. You wrote already that it is opposite to inhalation. So here our diaphragm muscles were contracted, so here they are relaxed. Before your diaphragm was flat shape, now it became dome shape. Before the pressure was low inside, now the pressure is high inside. Before the air was coming into the body, now the air go out from the body. Before the intercostal muscle were contract, you are relaxed.
Which one?
Internal. Okay, so now it will opposite happen to that. Clear? So this is how it works in our. Okay, these are the front of the chest, like I am standing here like this. You see? So this area is magnified. You see how we have the sternum, the breast bone. This is the breast bone, which is in the front, right? This is the breast bone, and you see the muscles here. These are the ribs. And we have muscles, two types of muscle that you know already, but in the diagram you need to understand, as Mr. Ramazan told you, some muscles are external, some muscles are internal. So the colors, different colors. This color here represent the external, as they are on the outside, you see? And then we have this color, they are on the inside, we call them internal intercostal muscles. This is the side view of the chest wall, side view, like if you magnified this portion. You will see internal and external. These muscles basically help our rib cage to move and to maintain the pressure gradient, sometime high, sometime low, when we inhale and exhale. So when you are writing about inhalation and ventilation mechanism, you need to write about pressure gradient, pressure difference, how the pressure difference is maintained by intercostal muscle, external intercostal muscle and internal intercostal muscle, plus the diaphragm and the rib cage all together. If you remember for one part, another part you will remember easily. Is it clear? Okay. Now this air which we inhale, where it goes? You have seen in the diagram here that we have lungs, and in the lungs we have small structures which we call alveoli. Clear? What they do, basically alveoli are doing exchange of gases. Each alveoli is surrounded by capillaries. Surrounded by Capillaries. And those capillaries basically they help in the process of ventilation. They help in the process of ventilation. Clear? So this is important to note that alveoli are the main exchange place in our system. You may be given question that these are our parts of the respiratory system. In which part gas exchange take place? Is it nose? No. Is it mouth? No. Trachea? No. Bronchi? No. Bronchus? No. Alveoli? Yes. Only alveoli. And one more question, how these alveoli are adapted? So they are very small, they are too many, so they provide large surface area, and they are one cell thick, and they are surrounded by capillaries. It means the capillary is very close. Let's say if this is my alveoli, so this is the capillary close to this. Yes. So the distance of diffusion is very short. You understand? Diffusion distance is very short, so easily they can diffuse the gases. So oxygen will diffuse to the red blood cells, and carbon dioxide from the red blood cell diffuse to the alveoli. And when the air exhale, carbon dioxide go out from the body. This is how our ventilation system works in our body. Okay, I will now show you a video. You will silently listen the video, and some of the points which are missed you can cover now. Okay, and then during the video there are some important points you need to write on the page. Okay, because I will ask questions.
So in order to understand how gas exchange works in humans, you need to be able to understand the lungs. Now the lungs are highly adapted organs that allow mammals to exchange gases between the environment and their blood. So let's have a look at the structure of the thorax, which is the chest area here. So you've got the two lungs, the left and the right lung, and then leading down to the lungs you've got the trachea, the windpipe, which carries the air from the environment down into the lungs. The trachea splits to go into the left and right lung, and when it splits, we call those tubes the bronchi, left and right bronchi. Those split even further into bronchioles, and eventually end up in these tiny little air sacs called alveoli. You've got millions of these air sacs in each lung. So it's almost like an upside down tree with the trunk sticking up there in the air and then branching out to smaller and smaller branches, and then the alveoli are a bit like leaves. So around in the lungs you've got your ribs for protection, protect the lungs, which are obviously quite sensitive and soft, and you need some kind of protection there. It's very, very important. And you've got the intercostal muscles, which we're going to talk more about later when we look at breathing, ventilation as it's known. The diaphragm is also a muscle which separates the abdomen from the thorax, and therefore it's also very, very important in ventilation. And you've also got surrounding the whole sort of cavity, chest cavity, the thorax, are these pleural membranes which make a complete airtight seal, which is really important.
It is important to note that we have a pleural membrane. It is around what? It is around our lungs, and this pleural membrane contains a special fluid which we call pleural fluid. What is the function of that fluid? It protects the lungs. Lungs is basically, it's a type of, you can say it's a balloon shape. So it is elastic in nature. Elastic means it can expand and it can contract and relax easily. So it's like like a balloon. You fill in more air, it increases the size. You decrease the pressure, it decreases the size. Okay. So pleural membrane you need to understand here.
And also provide a bit of lubrication so that there's no friction when you're breathing in or out. So this table just summarises the main structures you know about and the different functions in the lungs. So let's talk about breathing, or the proper word we should use for that is ventilation. Inhalation for breathing in, and exhalation for breathing out. Now this is all to do with differences in air pressure. You don't have to suck in air, and then force it out.
So the best thing to understand here is the air pressure difference.
Every time you breathe, it just happens. The air moves in, the air moves out. How does that work? Well, it works by changing the air pressure inside your chest cavity, inside your thorax. If you lower the air pressure, more air will...
What is called to the inside thorax region? What we call to this region where we have lungs and this all? Thorax, right? And beneath the thorax what we have? Abdomen, right? Who separate thorax and abdomen? Diaphragm. What is diaphragm? Sheet of muscles, right? Help in what? Ventilation. Clear? Okay.
Want to move in to equal that pressure. If you increase the air pressure, it will force air out automatically. How do we change the pressure? Well, you change the volume inside your thorax, and that will either lower the pressure or increase the pressure.
Okay, so now I will give you a worksheet. Okay, this worksheet you need to write. Please write down answer on this worksheet, the first page only. The first page only. You have 3 minutes to do this. Do it now. Hurry up. Write your names and write answers on the first page of this worksheet. Give these two to me. Hurry up. Do this independently. Who has done? Okay, good. Take this. You have to do this homework also. Okay, now listen to me. Okay, good. On the back side of this worksheet, there is homework, okay, related to this topic. You have to solve the questions given at the end of this worksheet and submit by tomorrow. During the lesson, you will submit this homework. Okay, so you need to make this worksheet complete, the remaining part, and write note in the notebook about ventilation, mechanism of breathing. Next lesson. Clear?
Next.
Okay, thank you. Okay, no problem. Okay, thank you.
Respect. Goodbye, teacher.
Goodbye, thank you.